and this really is where I want to come with this, because if you think about it, I really want people to hear this. Like you heard, all right, Salesforce, maybe a good company. You go look at it, and your own Google research gave you virtually zero information. You don't know anybody that's doing it. You don't know what anybody's making. You don't know how hard it is going to be able to get in this. You don't actually know what the role is. And then, really, as a result of listening to that episode with Bradley and then just taking a free 5-day challenge, you suddenly saw the matrix and you said, holy crap, this will actually work. And so, Bradley, like, and it's funny, it's exactly, this kind of epiphany that you had, this realization that's now been actualized, is the same. I have a lot of friends, and they continue to hear kind of little updates about this, or they know what's going on. Increasingly, I had 3 friends hit me up this week and ask me questions about this program, because it does sound too good to be true. You're telling me that with no background experience, I've never been in this before, and in a really kind of ugly time in the economy, a lot of small businesses are struggling, a lot of uncertainty. Like most people would say, I can't afford to lose my job right now, because would I be able to get another one? I think that's probably the fear place that most people operate from, even if they're not happy in it. You're telling me that there's recruiters bending over backwards to get access to me if I have, a certain skill set or certificate, or can present myself in a certain way. Bradley, give people a sense, like, why is Anita able to go through this free 5-day program and then take this, paid career development program, and then in a period of less than 6 months, double, maybe even triple her salary? How is that even possible? We're still kind of coming out of this thing.
Yeah, well, I think cloud-based technology is less impacted by things like the pandemic, because they are skill positions, but they're able to be done completely remotely without a lot of change management that goes into that. So using some sort of tech nomenclature there, but really these jobs are able to be done from anywhere in the world, much less just from sitting at home quarantining. It's very easy to get these jobs done as long as you know how to do it. And Salesforce was already primed for needing more and more help, because Salesforce is an amazing tool that companies need to use to operate their companies. And companies, hundreds of thousands of companies across the globe use Salesforce, but there aren't nearly as many skilled Salesforce professionals to actually fill the roles that are needed. So already in the global Salesforce economy, there were hundreds of thousands of job openings that no one was able to fill, or they were being filled, but it was not quality skill that was filling those positions. So you'll notice, if you're one of these people who just wants to dive in and research, that Salesforce used to have a few barriers to entry. They didn't have an online training program. They built that because of the demand for new skilled people. So, like Anita mentioned, they brought on Trailhead, which is a completely free online training platform to learn Salesforce. Why did they do that completely free? Because they are in dire need of new Salesforce professionals. And then it used to be that Salesforce certifications had to be maintained 4 times a year, and you'd have to pay an annual cost to maintain your certifications. And they completely wiped away the maintenance fee. They moved it to just once a year, because once again, they're trying to knock down all these barriers to just, they're begging people to come get Salesforce skill and help their customers who need Salesforce professionals in place. So Salesforce was already primed with a huge supply and demand gap. And that's what allows people like Anita to come in, and they think, why would anyone ever hire someone who studied online for a couple of months and got a certification and maybe got a little bit of volunteer experience, and now they want to hire me for 60, 70, 80, $100,000? That's absurd. And that's where that thought process comes in, where you put those dots together and you say, no, that's a scam. That's way too good to be true. And I'll tell you, even from where I am today, when people say that sounds too good to be true, I 100% agree with them. It does up front sound way too good to be true. And I think this is one of those, really rare occasions where something sounds way too good to be true, and it just happens to be true. And I'll say that financial independence was that way for me too. It was, you're telling me I can work for 10 years, and if I save more than I spend, and I save this percentage and 25x my, the 4% rule, and you put all this together and you go, there's no way that's true. And so you spend hundreds of hours digging into it to find out oh my gosh, it is true. That's unbelievable. And then you see people execute on it. This is exactly the same way. And I'll say the other parallel there is that just like with financial independence, if you wait until next year or you wait until 2 or 3 years from now and then you take action, you are now 2 or 3 years behind your future, right? So why wait for your future to come to you when you could come to it right now? So it's really the same. Like if you wait for your Salesforce career to come to you, you could look up 2 or 3 years from now and you could already be making $150,000 plus, but here you are still trying to figure out how do you get started.
I'm laughing because he's serious, people. These are real numbers. That's just it's crazy. It shouldn't be like that. Anita can confirm some of this for us shortly.